I'm joined by Marlene Blessing, who is the editorial director for Beadwork magazine. And you know, Marlene, today we're talking about layering, and what I love to show you is that you brought 3 necklaces with you. And what you're seeing here, actually 3 necklaces that can either be worn together or they can be worn separately, and I love that. But what I also wanted to show you is we have another variation that you can see. We've made the top, the shorter necklace. We've made the longer necklace. And now you're going to show us how to add that centerpiece to it.
The centerpiece necklace, exactly. And it's going to be really fun. It's got a little more detail than the other 2, the short one and the long one.
Okay.
And here's some of our materials.
Okay.
I did want to show you this stone that's the pendant on the short necklace because it's cool stone. It's howlite. It's not very expensive.
So pretty.
Looks rich.
Yes.
And I also wanted to show you the cool ring that it hangs from.
Wow.
You know, really nice texture. And if you wanted to use something really different, you could just go for a crystal.
Wow.
You know, there are lots of choices.
Has great presence.
Great presence. This necklace is going to have these 2 strands, one shorter than the other, that are with these pearls. And these are really a pretty kind of silvery blue, and then we've got some smaller round white pearls, and together they just look great. And we separate them when they're strung by these seed beads. They're size 11 seeds, and they're kind of a sky blue color with a little metallic touch to it.
It kind of brings everything together.
It does. Almost looks like it's knotted. So that's an effect.
It is.
We're going for that effect. And on the long necklace, I did want to show this pendant because I think it's really cool. It's shibuichi, which means it's got a layer of gold on silver. Got a beautiful little bird on it, and it's so pretty. Anyway, lots of choices out there.
Great.
And last but not least, riverstone.
Okay.
These are riverstone connectors, and that's what we're going to use on our necklace to hold the 2 pearl strands. So it's going to be really cool.
Pretty.
And it's easy. Let's get started.
Okay.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to show is a simple attachment using, it's a brass jump ring, nice and fat. It's about I think this is a 10.
Okay.
And we're going to open it the proper way, torquing like that, not pulling it apart, so it keeps its shape. Goes on the end of the chain. We see it finished right here. Goes through this.
Just putting a lobster claw?
Yeah. It's a small hole, so you have to make sure the jump ring you're choosing is going to fit the end of the lobster clasp. And then you just bring it right back up and nice and smooth. And it closes back up. So that's what we've done there. And then what we need to do is count up about to the 2nd link of the chain to create this cute little bouquet. These are with check glass flowers, and they're really sweet. And because we're using this, you know, darker brass chain, we're using these brass head pins, and they're a little different than using silver or even gold. It's a softer metal, and so it's a little more challenging to work with, but worth it, totally worth it.
Because it looks nice look.
Gives a well, you can see right here, you know, these turned out just so beautifully, and they were a little more challenging to play with. Got our 90-degree angle. We leave a little space so that we can do some wrapping.
So you're just basically making a wrap loop.
We're just doing a wrap loop. It's that simple. And then take our round nose pliers, pick the size that you want for the loop, pull it around. Now, when I did this at home, I actually had to take my pliers and kind of pull it to get it to close enough. Today it worked.
Perfect.
You know,
See,
I guess you're
your lucky day.
You're my good luck charm here. So now this really is a demonstration of how you do need it for the wrapping. And the reason you need it is because you can't pull it tight enough with your fingers.
Yeah.
It's just, so you're going to get a little bend in the end of the wire that's almost like a handle.
Right.
And you just twist it around. It starts feeling very industrial doing this, but you get it to...
It's almost like using wire as opposed to...
It is. It's like using hardware store wire. So, and then we're just going to cut that. And my friend Leslie has given us some good safety tips that half the time I don't use.
I know, I always go like this. It's just natural. Even though it's covered, I just always have that natural cringe.
I know.
Done it enough times to myself.
Exactly, exactly. But that's what it's going to look like. And you attach all of these. I got 5 on here. You could maybe get 1 more. You know, just squeeze it in so it looks all bunchy and fun. Okay.
So you attach that to the chain. We've done the lobster claw. Now we're coming down
the other end to the finish
stone.
line. And here what we've done is I've already attached it with one of the brass rings, jump rings. And then I've got another one down here that I'm going to have to open up so that I don't have to open it up because voila, I'm going to be taking my pre-strung strand here.
Now what gauge are you using to string it?
I usually, because pearls often, especially little ones like this, have tiny holes, so I use a finer beading wire, and you could use a 12 to 14.
Okay.
And that works perfectly. And then I've got a 2mm crimp tube on here.
Right.
And I'm just gonna do the usual, pull it through here and
loop it back through again.
Loop the wire back through and pull it snug, but not too snug, because that will make it less vulnerable to breakage.
So you're just crimping it.
And you're going to crimp it, and you take your crimping pliers, and for a lot of people this feels like kind of a challenging thing to do, but you just put it in the back channel of your crimping pliers, squeeze it, and it creates these, see these little channels? Cool.
You just squeeze it again.
And then squeeze it again to kind of minimize it and make it just
that was a good
like a little silver bead. And then cut your thread. Excuse me, why do I call it thread? It's wire. And
we know what you're talking about.
You can't cut it the same
so
way.
So fine, it's almost like thread.
Yeah, and you know, while you're working, as you've got these things threaded, it's so great to have these little stops. You know, they really hold things together. Okay, now what we've got on the end here is
clasp, the other end of the
we're going to actually, the other end of the lobster clasp is going to be a little jump ring. Because lobster clasps, sometimes they come with that extra jump ring and sometimes they don't, and this one did not.
Yeah. So then, of course, as you get it through, you would just crimp it like you did the other side.
Right, and it attaches here, and you know, voila, you do the same thing with the longer strand.
That's perfect.
So, you know.
Well, of course, all of the instructions is going to be on our website, but what we wanted to do is to show you how you can wear the necklaces the different ways.
Exactly.
And so, as we showed you in the beginning, Marlene has actually brought with her 3 of them that you're going to see right over here in a second. And as you can see right now, you're wearing it all together. Love that nice full look. But then, look what happens if I want to wear just 2 of them. That still is a great look. It's just a little bit longer, which is great. And then, how about this? You can wear it by itself, the bottom one, or I like this way. Just wearing it by itself, or just putting the shorter one so you have a little bit more of a gap in the center.
Yeah, close to your neck. That's fun.
That's the fun things about what you're teaching us here, is that we can play. And you can kind of create your own style.
You can, and it's amazing what you can mix together.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is a terrific, terrific project.
I think you should wear that.
Thanks, Marlene. We're going to be heading out to location next.